Indiana won back-to-back games. I was going to say as they beat the Indiana Pacers, but heck, that's not even the right word I want to use. I could use slaughter. I could use embarrass. I could use destroy, demolish. Choose a word. If you think of a word that I didn't mention, fire it in there. Let me know in the comments, guys, because this game was not only a victory against a playoff team in the Indiana. I mean, they're struggling right now, and obviously Oladipo didn't play today, but they've been better without Oladipo for some reason. And you welcome in this team to town when we're playing Milwaukee on Tuesday, so you could have arguably said this might have been some sort of trap game. But not for this team. Not for an NBA championship caliber team. You welcome in a team, you focus on that team, and you win by a franchise record 46 points. The Raptors won 127-81. You kind of saw where this game was going when they started out on a 15-1 run out of the gate. But you usually expect the team to make a big punch. And the Raptors defense is like, no, we're not going to let that type of stuff happen. The Raptors led by, was it 22 at the end of the first flipping quarter. 34-12. And like I said, they did not let off the gas pedal. In the second quarter, they won that quarter by 9. Ladies and gentlemen, the Raptors were up at halftime by 31. They only allowed, 35 or something like that in that, 32, in the first half. That is ridiculous. And yeah, in the third quarter, you lost the quarter by 1. Oh, big deal. But in the fourth, the Raptors up by 30? Or well, maybe we could sit back a little bit. We'll put in the bench guys, the 905 guys. They racked up 42. And Sabonis was out there for half of the fourth quarter. And you even saw McDermott, you saw Holiday out there to close out the game. And you still won that quarter alone by 16. This team from top to bottom is absolutely freakish. And we know that we get no love south of the border. And that's fine. I've come to be totally fine with it. Because you won a championship last year because of that. Well, not because of it, but, they didn't care about us. So we're like, all right, we'll just put a ring on it then. And this year, we continue to hear the stuff. You heard you guys have probably seen by now that video coming out right after the Kawhi Leonard signed with the Clippers, that moron on Fox talking about how the Raptors are an irrelevant franchise, and thank goodness Kawhi's gone, and they're going to go down to the basement, continue getting lottery picks, and blah, 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 blah. You know who's laughing now? Everybody at this guy. And everybody talking about, the Raptors probably aren't going to make the playoffs this year, or they might be an 8 seed or a 7 seed. Meanwhile, they're second and have the third best record in the NBA at 42-15, and everybody is elevating their play. From Pascal Siakam to Kyle Lowry to Fred VanVleet to Serge Ibaka, and then you start getting contributions from guys you've never had before. Terrence Davis, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson was fantastic tonight. Heck, Matt Thomas, for God's sakes, was incredible today. I mean, it was in the garbage time, but he couldn't miss. This team from top to bottom is incredible. And let's get to these stats. Let's get to this stuff because there's a lot to cover here in a very short time. First off, the offensive numbers. Raptors shoot 51%. That is very good. But not only is that great, you hold them to 33% from the field. And that helps when they're going to miss some wide open shots. But overall, the Raptors defense just smothered them. Every time they had a switch, every time they tried some pick and roll, there were at least one or maybe even two at times, Raptors glued to each guy. They tried a couple lobs. Well, the lobs were too strong or they were way off because the Raptors were all over them. The defense from this team, especially in that first quarter, really, it came up to us really in that first quarter where you saw the defense from the Toronto Raptors and you thought to yourself, they can't keep this up. Well, they did. The Raptors gave up 26 points. That was the most in a quarter they gave up. 26. They gave up 12, 20, 23, and 26. That is stupid. From three, Raptors knocked down 17 threes, 17 for 44, 39%, a very good number. And you hold them for 8 for 33. I think they were like 1 of 11 in the first quarter, so they really slowed that down as the game went along. But only 24% from beyond the arc were the Indiana Pacers. Not pretty at all. And free throw line, they weren't good there either. 11 of 17. Raptors were 89%, 16 for 18. And something the Raptors usually got dominated on when it comes to the Indiana Pacers is the rebounding stuff. And that's usually been the issue with the Raptors when it comes to any team for that matter. But they dominated the paint. They dominated every aspect of this game today. 57 to 39 in rebounds. Yeah, they had 2 offensive boards more than us. But yeah, we rebounded them by 18. It was ridiculous. Raptors had 32 assists. When the ball starts moving for the Toronto Raptors, you can't really stop them. And they had 13 steals. We had 9, but we had 10 blocks therefore. Both teams had 17 turnovers. Not very pretty there. Points in the paint, Raptors were plus 8, 50 to 42. Second chance points, they won the offensive glass 12-10. However, we won the second chance category 15-12. Very good stuff there. And in the fast break, once the Raptors get their defense going, it leads to their offense in the fast break. They get a lot of shots that way, and that's where this team becomes most dangerous. 33 to 13 in the fast break for the Toronto Raptors. 18 points for them off of the turnovers. We had 17 off of the turnovers for them. All right? Now let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to these players, because these guys played hard. They played fantastic today. Pascal Siakam, let's start at the top here. OG Anunoby, 7 points, 4 boards, a couple assists on 3 of 7 shooting, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 0 of 2 from 3. Had a steal and a block in the game today. Was a plus 21 while he was on the floor. As much as OG offensively is kind of hit or miss. I think we've all kind of learned that at this point in his career, that OG Anunoby is kind of that, we're not quite sure where he's at offensively. You know, it's kind of an inconsistent feel for it. But what you do know for sure is that this guy's defense is top notch. I mean, it is that's why he works so well in this system, in the Raptors system, and that's why he works so well in the starting unit, is because of his defensive prowess. Yes, he might not be able to shoot the ball extremely well on a consistent basis for this team, but you have 4 other guys that are able to do that. So you don't really need him to do that. You just need him to be a sound player and defend the player that he's supposed to defend. And that's just what he's done, guys. I mean, it's incredible. You know, he held some bonus to 6 of 16 shooting. If TJ Warren was his guy at times, 3 of 12. The Raptors did an incredible job stopping every guy, every single player on the Indiana Pacers. And Pascal Siakam, he only played 30 minutes. He didn't play him for the fourth quarter. Had 21 points, couple boards, 3 assists, 8 of 12 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, was 4 of 5 from the line, had a block in the game, plus 29 while Pascal was on the floor. The starters got the job done today. And Serge Ibaka only played 24 minutes, but he had a double-double, 15 and 15. Had 1 assist to go along with that. Shot 7 of 12, 1 of 2 from 3, had a block in the game, plus 25 on the floor. And the energy from Serge was remarkable. How many offensive boards did he have today? He had 4. 4 of the 10. I think it was 10. Yeah, was it 10 for the Raptors? They had offensive boards. Yeah, 10 offensive boards. Serge had 4 of them. Big night for Serge Ibaka. Fantastic game for him all around. And Kyle Lowry only played 32 minutes, so not a high leverage game for him. 16.7 boards, 11 assists, 6 of 13 shooting, so it's shade under 50%. Not bad. 1 of 1 from the line, 3 of 8 from 3. He had 5 steals and a block, did Kyle Lowry. That's why this team leads the NBA in steals. So he was a plus 29 on the floor. Fred VanVleet, yeah, not a great offensive game for Freddie. 8 points, 3 boards, 3 assists on 3 of 12 shooting. Was 2 of 9 from 3. But he sprinkled in a couple steals in the ball game. And when he was on the floor, plus 31. Fred VanVleet, as much as offensively wasn't great. Not everybody's going to work every single night. So it's all right, Freddie having an off night today. But the bench really took off today. I mean, we thought about, right, and you always talk about transition type of games, right? When you talk about the first bit of the basketball game, great, the Raptors had that big run, they were doing great, the starters were out there, then you make that change to bring in your bench guys, and for a lot of teams, and even sometimes the Toronto Raptors, the lead kind of dwindles away because the bench isn't playing at that high type of level. Well, the bench continued to play at that high level, they built on the lead, and that continued the rest of the game. Terrence Davis, it seems to be automatic for him. 13 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist, and almost had a ridiculous dunk in transition. If he made that, bringing the house down, TD2. 5 of 10 shooting for Terrence Davis, 3 of 6 from 3. Had a block in the game today, plus 15. Great job, Terrence Davis II. Hashtag rising star. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, this guy was great today. I thought his feet were real nimble today. The reason I say that, how many times did it go one-on-one off the dribble with some guy, and he blew by him? Or he kind of dribbled a little bit and then blew right past him. He looked real good tonight, was Rondé. Shot 5 of 7, had 12 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 2 of 2 from the line, 5 of 7 from the field, was a plus 17 on the floor. He brought energy. He was awesome tonight. And Chris Boucher, look, he knocked down a 3. I mean, for me, that's a positive in itself for Chris Boucher. He was 1 of 2 from 3. He had 9 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists in 17 minutes. Shot 2 of 4 from the field. 4 of 4 from the free throw line, was 1 of 2 from 3. He had 4 blocks in 17 minutes. 4! Big time for Chris Boucher. And yeah, sprinkle in a plus 12 for Chris Boucher, the French Canadian. Loving it. And then, like I said earlier, Matt Thomas, a career high in points, and he only played 15 minutes. I think it was a very sprinkled in amount of time at the end of the third quarter, maybe the first half, something like that. Didn't play a lot. But then in the fourth quarter, with everyone sitting, he was able to play quite a bit more, and the guy couldn't miss. He had 17 points in 15 minutes. He had an assist. He had a rebound. 6 of 8 from the field. 5 of 7 from 3. He knocked down 5 threes in 15 minutes. Big time for Matt Thomas, and plus 21 while he was on the floor. And even when the other guys came in, even when Stanley Johnson came in, Malcolm Miller, O'Shea Brissett, Paul Watson Jr., these guys came out there, and they were all positives. Where is he here? Stanley Johnson plus 8. Miller plus 9. Brissett plus 9. Watson was even a plus 4 in only the 4 minutes that he played. Every single player the Raptors threw out there today brought energy. And it was fantastic to watch. And you're going to need that moving forward. Because obviously the next game is I wouldn't say the biggest game of the year because it really doesn't have much implications. It's not like you can catch Milwaukee or fall back too much, because with the Boston Celtics losing today to the LA Lakers, thank you LeBron James for that spin around fading away shot there late in that game, the Raptors have a 2.5 game lead over the Celtics and a 2-loss difference. We have 15 losses on the year. They have 17. So even if you do lose 1 to Milwaukee, you're still in an all-right situation. But I want to beat Milwaukee. I think we can all agree on that. Milwaukee is the team we look at, and that's the team we want. Because of course, look at all the other teams in the East. You've beaten Boston on the road. Obviously, you lost on Christmas Day to Boston at home. But you can beat the Boston Celtics. You can beat Philly here or there. I don't care. I understand they're a great home team, but that team's just not very good in my opinion. Miami, look, it's been scrappy against them all year long. The 2 or 3 games we played against them, they've been tight, all the games. But I think we can beat the Miami Heat. When it comes to Milwaukee, whenever you hear the questions of who's coming out of the East or anything like that, you always say, okay, well, Milwaukee's there, but who can take on Milwaukee? And I think, in my opinion, it's Toronto. I understand I'm a Raptor fan. I watch every Raptor game. I don't watch all the Boston games, probably because I don't like Boston. So why the heck would I watch them unless they're playing Toronto? But when I look at the Eastern Conference and I look at the depth of these teams, you saw Matt Thomas drop 17 tonight. You saw Rondé Hollis-Jefferson drop 12. You had Terrence Davis get 13. Heck, if Boucher got another point, he'd have a double-double. This is all off the bench. And you have your starters, they just do their thing. And oh yeah, no Marc Gasol, and no Norman Powell. So, I'm intrigued to see the way this team is going to end the year and how everything's played out the rest of the way. But from what we saw tonight, is that any single player on any given night can make an impact for the Toronto Raptors team. And even we've seen one guy go off. They find a way with Norman Powell against Atlanta, in Atlanta, having that crazy game, and you find a way to come back and win that. But then you have games like today where everybody does their job, everybody contributes, and you win by 46. Maybe not every night. And don't expect to beat Milwaukee by 46, people, because either we're good. See, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. I'm very excited to watch this game because this is 1 versus 2. And it could be Giannis's future team. I'm just going to fire that out there because we've heard reports all over the place, even though it doesn't mean a damn thing because reports mean squat. That we're the front runners apparently to land Giannis in a year and a half. So let's just take it easy a little bit on it. Look, trust me, I'm seeing it too, people. Whenever I see it, I get excited, but it's so far away. We still have the rest of this season, and off season than all of next year before even that's talked about. So let's enjoy this right now. Let's welcome Giannis to town, beat him, show him what he could join, and go from there. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed this basketball game there this evening, because, oh, my God, it was fun, smack that like button. Do appreciate that. And the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the game today. Who is your MVP from tonight's game? I'm going to give you, that's going to be a tough question because there are lots of guys to choose from here. You could go Pascal, the 21 points. You could give Ibaka, the 15 and 15. You could go Lowry, the double-double, 16-11. Heck, you can get to the bench. You know, with Terrence Davis, Rondé, Boucher, and even Matt Thomas fire. I don't know, guys. Let me know. Who is your MVP in this game today? But I don't even know who I might even go Serge because I think he had the first 7 points of the ball game today, and he had a double-double in 24 minutes, 15 and 15. I don't know. You guys let me know who's your MVP and what you thought about this team and everything moving forward. And if you think this team's going to be really active in the buyout market. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I don't think it really means a lot because this team's pretty much already set in our opinions. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on everything Toronto Raptors. Comment down below everything. Go nuts, guys. All right? Twitter's down below for myself. Follow up and send me a DM, do all that great stuff. Also, the Patreon link is down below. So if you guys are interested in signing up for that, the link is down in the description. And I will talk to you guys in the latest edition. And I got the call from Kyle Dubas earlier, and it seems like I'm going to net today, but I don't drive a Zamboni. So let's see what happens there as the Leafs take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Thank God I'm not in that one because I'd probably be dead after the game against Tampa. I think it's on Tuesday night, if I'm not mistaken, as they head down to Tampa to take on the Lightning, a team who's lost probably, 4 games in the last 30. Yay, that's going to be fun. On Tuesday night, 7 o'clock puck drop, Anderson and Vasilevsky are the expected starters. I guess not me. I guess I might not get to... I might be on the bench doing the stats and everything. I don't know. We'll have to see how it all plays out, though. If Kyle Dubas gives me the ring and is like, hey, we need you. Because they might. I don't know. We'll have to see how it all plays out. And as for our Toronto Raptors, I assure us, no, I'm not playing for them because they are playing extremely good and don't need me. As they welcome in the Milwaukee Bucks to Scotiabank Arena on Tuesday night, 7:30 tip-off, welcoming in maybe a future Raptor, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks to Scotiabank Arena, 7:30 tip-off in probably one of the most, it's going to be one of the highly anticipated games of the season, let's put it that way. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys then.